Hey guys, just doing a deck review on the Marielle Tarot. This was one of the first decks that I purchased. Um, I trimmed my cards down. I'd recommend that to anybody. When you first get them, they're huge. They have a really big black border. Some of them are a little uneven on the borders too. So I had to trim them down. Um, you can connect with the images so much easier without the borders. I mean, the borders are black, but like I said, they're way too big. I think she made them big like that because each one is a unique painting, and you really need the large cards to be able to take in the artwork. I've seen some people even cut off the words in the bottom. I'll do that eventually, but I kind of like the way that they are like this. So, um, I actually got this deck hand signed by Marie White. Um, this is a very special deck to me. I got this deck specifically for myself. I connected to this deck um, on a much deeper level than any of my other decks. I felt like the meanings are in her book she says they're not exactly Rider-Waite-Smith traditional meanings. They're kind of like that, but I've found that they are Rider-Waite-Smith meanings, but it's kind of a deeper take on it. I like this card too. She made this. Her inspiration was Joan of Arc. And there is nudity in these. I'm a pagan. I don't have a problem with it. There are hermaphrodites in this as well. But the reason why is because she talks about in her book how she found that to be the best way to capture the feminine and masculine energies in the cards. And I found that that's got to be the deepest way to capture that. But every single one of these cards is gorgeous, and it just captures the meaning of the card in its most raw form. It's a very deep deck. Everyone will say that. I've used this card for clients a couple times, but I mostly only use it for myself. And you can do reversals with this deck. I haven't yet. They're just so, you know, intricate and deep by themselves upright that I haven't even tried doing reversals with this deck. I only really do reversals with the Wild Unknown. I love this card. This card, she captured the feminine and masculine with all four elements, everything divine, human and animal together, and her inspiration was to create her own Baphomet. So I love this card. The artwork is just gorgeous. I think it took her like 12 years to complete this deck. This has got to be the best Temperance card. I had such an issue with Temperance for a long time. I don't know why. Um, but this card really put it in perspective for me. You've got she uses tigers a lot in this deck as kind of it's a lot in the wands, and it's all about like energy, fire, creative energy. And so we have that with the coolness flowing water and the waves, and I was just like, that is the perfect balance. I love that. And there is... Okay, this deck... I wouldn't say this is a pagan deck. If you are pagan, you'll love it, though. Because she has a lot of pagan, and she's got Norse mythologies, Egyptian mythologies, pantheons. She uses pretty much every pantheon in this deck, including Christianity. Now, I'm not a fan of, I'm not really into Christian decks and stuff. I feel that it kind of contradicts itself, but that's another matter. But, like this one, she uses an angel. And in the... I think it's all of the 10s in each suit is a rider and horse of, like, the apocalypse. So she's got the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But the good thing is the way that she describes these cards in her book, you can kind of take it any way. And she's got a lot of cards in here that represent Odin and a lot of Egyptian gods and goddesses. So you kind of get a little bit of everything. So I kind of like that she combined everything together. And it's definitely a sexual deck. It's a very... And this one is, I think she said this one was representative of Odin and a angel called Metatron or something like that. So some of the cards they have inspirations from many different pantheons. So I liked that. I can deal with that. I love this chariot. The wolves. Yeah, it's a beautiful deck. If you really want to delve into the cards' deep meanings, this deck I would definitely recommend for shadow work as well. This is a card that the inspiration was Buddha. I love this card. This has got to be the best Page of Swords out there, indiscreet. It's perfect. For me, I like things to be very raw and out there. This is a card that I still struggle with her meaning. But, this is the perfect deck for studying. And this one, too, you can totally get the vulnerability with the Page of Cups. It's gorgeous. So, if you like... I wouldn't really say this is a dark deck. It's more of just a deep deck. And this card really put Eight of Swords in perspective. She explains it as a gate without a lock. And beyond the gate, up to the castle, is your dreams. And you need to make the step to go through the gate. You need to be able to tell yourself that the gate has no lock and that you can go past the gate. So I love how instead of showing, all the swords around the body or people tied, in a physical way, kind of showing how if there's outside forces, we got to remember that the swords is all about your mind and your intellect. And this symbolizes you trapping yourself. It's not anything else, it's you. And this is probably the card that really put that in perspective for me. And this is a card that she used Odin's ravens as inspiration. It's thought and memory ravens. So, yeah, I think that if you really love deep, raw decks, you need to get this deck. I don't know anybody who doesn't like this deck. And I got this directly from her. And if you get it directly from her, she will sign some of the copies. So I thought that was nice that she did that. But I've underlined so much stuff in this book. You will find things in here that is just like, oh my god, I never thought of it that way. Her book is amazing. This is probably the best tarot book that I've ever gotten. And it's definitely something that you really got to sit down and read. It's not like you just find a card and you just look up the meanings. But I mean, she still has that. You can still see like the keywords, and then she'll have the traditional meanings too. She does have reversed meanings too. So you can do this reversed. But it's just cool. She uses a lot of quotes in here that helped her with the inspiration of the cards as well. So check it out if you don't have it. This is the Marielle Tarot, Landscapes of the Abyss.